Hi students. Shorter video today and probably for the rest of this week and perhaps for the rest of this year as we go into today's lesson. Yesterday we dealt with thesis statements, we dealt with MLA format, we dealt with what this essay was even going to be about, and today I'm going to transition us into introductions. So introduction paragraphs, what to write in them, what I'll be expecting for your introduction paragraph, and what your assignment for today is going to be. So yesterday, a lot of you should have hopefully sent me your possible thesis statements, your ideas, your characters, and you hopefully would have gotten feedback by now on what you've sent me. If you didn't send me your brainstorming work yesterday, please send me your brainstorming work. Today, like I said, we're going to be focusing on introductions. So at this point, I'm under the understanding that you've done what you had to do. You watched yesterday's video. You have no questions. You understand your assignment. You've submitted to me your draft work, your brainstorming. I've given you feedback, and you have direction. Today, you're going to be writing an introduction paragraph for your draft of your Romeo and Juliet essay. Please do this on OneDrive since we have that nice and easy and accessible at school, and don't forget to share it with me when you're done. I will only know that you've made changes if you share it with me, and that you've done it if you share it with me, so please remember to do that. Introduction paragraph. So I have a little handout for you. I have some, handy information. So hopefully you all feel well prepared to write an introduction paragraph. You will get these handouts via email for supplementary notes if you need them. So don't worry about that. But I always kind of verbally explain things in greater detail as well. So you all can have a better understanding of what I'm looking for spelled out to you verbally. Introduction paragraphs, things not to do, things to do. Introductions, not to do. This is what I don't want to see in an introductory paragraph. Never apologize for what you're saying in an introductory paragraph. So never suggest that you don't know what you're talking about or that you're not enough of an expert in this matter that your opinion would matter. Your reader will quickly turn to something else. Avoid phrases like, in my humble opinion, I'm not sure about this, but this goes hand in hand with the I think kind of thing. No, I think, be confident. You know this stuff. We reviewed it in class. We reviewed it over video. I've sent you notes, right? You know all of this. Be confident and be clear. Do not announce your intentions. I tried to get this out of you before when we wrote our first essay. Do not flatly announce what you're going to do. In this paper, I will. No. The purpose of this essay is to. No. No. In this essay, I will be writing about. It is a very elementary or middle school thing to do. This is high school level writing now. We are ironing those statements out of our writing. Get into the topic. Let your reader perceive the purpose of the topics. Get into the topic. Let the reader perceive your purpose in the topic sentence and beginning paragraph. Those are the ways that the reader knows what you're going to be writing about. Obviously, I'm reading this essay and you don't have to announce, I'm going to be writing about this, because I know that's what you're going to be writing about. This says, do not use a dictionary or encyclopedia definition. So if you're writing about widgets, according to Merriam-Webster's W.W. Webster Dictionary, a widget is ... Although definitions are extremely useful and might even serve your purpose to devise your own definitions later in the essay, you want to avoid using this hackneyed beginning to an essay. So a lot of the time you are told to use a definition. This is a cliche, which is why it's something that's recommended not to do in an introductory paragraph. So you might not start this by saying impulsivity can be described as ... It's very cliche and it feels young. So you want to approach this as mature writing. Therefore, you don't just want to use other people's words for this. You want to do this yourself. Don't dilly-dally. Get to it. Move confidently into your essay. Many writers find it useful to write a warm-up paragraph or two even to get them into the essay to sharpen their own idea of what they're up to, and then they go back and delete the running start. So a lot of students will tend to ramble. I tend to ramble. It's something that I'm really bad at. I will write forever and ever about a certain topic and I'll be like, well, I've really gotten off my point, and I need to go back and I need to delete anything that is extra information. I'm sure you've noticed that, and I'm sure that we all do it. It's recommended that you don't do that. So you got to stick right to the point. You got to just jump right into it and explain exactly what you want to say here. I did cite the source, and then that means, so these are the things that I wouldn't want to see in your intro. So what do I want to see in your intro? Start it with the topic sentence. So your topic sentence could provide a little background on the stories or the author, which you're writing about. Don't use too much summary though. Remember, don't dilly-dally, go straight to the point. So you could provide a little background on Shakespeare. You could say, in the 1500s, Shakespeare was a very prolific writer, whatever you want to do, just some general statement. You could restate the question or make a general statement about the thesis. So you could talk about impulsivity in general if you're writing about Romeo's impulsivity and say, impulsivity is often a bad thing. Or you could include a fact or statistic if applicable. This type of essay would not have applicably a fact or a statistic. So don't use that. Don't forget too, in your introduction paragraph, you should include the title and author in your paragraph in some place. You should briefly outline what will be detailed in the essay itself. So you should be able to say your topic sentence and then kind of briefly explain what your body paragraphs are going to be explaining. Briefly, with no detail. You're saving that detail and explanation for later when you get to the body paragraphs. You're going to end your introduction paragraph with your thesis statement. We talked about those yesterday, and you should have gotten some feedback and approval on those yesterday as well via email. And usually just know the average introduction paragraph is not long. It's usually only about 4 or 5 sentences long on average. So you don't need to be rambling or don't need to put 1,000 things in an intro. Save those things for the body paragraphs. All right. So, sample of an introduction paragraph. This is for an argument essay. So the subject is why homework should be forbidden in schools. Yours is going to look a bit different simply because it's an analytical essay that's going to be describing things to do with stories and literature. But if you're using an argument essay, it's going to be a very, very similar format, except you're not going to use any statistics, okay? So a sample of this would be, remember, start with a general statement about the topic. This is a formula to write any introduction paragraph. Homework. How often to give it and how much to give is a highly debated topic in schools, with many schools calling to eliminate it altogether. Immediately, I'm not saying this essay is going to be writing about homework. However, even though I didn't use that language, you still know that this essay is going to be about homework because it was clearly stated in this introduction, in this general statement. So start with a general statement. Like I said, you can start with one about Shakespeare. Start with a general statement about Romeo and Juliet, the play. You can start with a general statement about the theme. You can start with a general statement about the character that you're going to choose. And then statistics can often be effective in communicating a point. Add one if applicable. It's not here. However, let's look at this. In fact, in a recent article by Healthline, it reports that more than 70% of students said that they were often or always stressed over schoolwork. So that would be the second sentence. Include the titles and authors of the book if applicable here. If applicable. Here it is not. So for this sample purposes, here it's not. But you should always mention the relevant titles and authors within the first couple sentences of your paragraph. So if you start with, impulsivity is often a very negative trait to have. In Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare does a great job at explaining this. It is very cliche, but that is the formulaic approach that you can have to this intro if you need that formulaic approach. Some students are ready to go beyond that formulaic approach, and that sounds perfectly fine to me, and I'll be happy to read that. But if you need that formula, it's there and you've learned it. Hopefully you know how to write an intro. Briefly, then, you will outline what will be explained in greater detail later in the essay. So you're going to explain just very briefly, give a little glance, a once-over of all of the body paragraphs that you're going to have later in the essay. So homework is a highly debated topic. Many schools call to eliminate it because of the stress. And then here are our 3 reasons why people are going to call to eliminate it. Because of the sheer amount of added stress on already stressed students, the homework debate has become a serious one in recent years. Discussed with the arguments that students should be focusing more on jobs or extracurriculars than homework, and the fact that some research shows no benefit to homework at all, it is clear that something should be done about homework and its impact on students. Okay, so we've already talked about what will be discussed in greater detail very quickly. We're going to talk about how the homework debate has become serious. We're going to talk about arguments, especially students should be focusing on jobs and extracurriculars. We're going to be focusing on some research shows no benefit to homework at all. And we're going to be talking about how homework has significantly impacted students. You always end your intro on your thesis statement. A general way to wrap up everything you'll say in the rest of your essay. Everything you write from this point forward should connect back to this in some way. So you'd say, therefore, due to emotional concerns, financial concerns, and educational concerns, homework should not be allowed in public schools. That's your thesis. It's nice. It wraps it all up. In your thesis statement that you're going to be writing for your Romeo and Juliet essay, please remember to include the title of the work and the author. But you see how it's just nice, easy, but it states just one thing: emotional concerns, financial concerns, educational concerns. Homework should not be allowed in public schools. It does not say, in my opinion, but we know that it's the person's opinion, and we know that they have statistics, research, and ideas to back it up. Okay, so this is something that I should be seeing in your essay too. If you tell me that Tybalt is hot-headed and these are the reasons why, I should see really quickly outlined the reasons why you think he's hot-headed and what this hot-headedness did, why he's hot-headed, and how that affects the plot or the theme in some way. You've gotten feedback. You should kind of understand this. The entire introduction paragraph may look something like this, and I simply combined all of these sentences into one paragraph. A nice, tight, neat paragraph, and the rest of your body paragraphs will follow with evidence to support this thesis. That's what yours is going to look like. And so today, you sent me very easy assignment here, or it's quicker than the ones that we're used to looking at. On your OneDrive, write out a possible full introduction paragraph for your essay, including the thesis statement as your final sentence. It's nice and easy, all right? Shouldn't take you too long. When you're done, share it with me for feedback and credit. So if it looks good, I might not say anything. I might give a little suggestion, or I might say, I think that you need to change this. I would recommend re-looking at this part, okay? But I'll be looking at it. I'll be seeing it. I'll be overlooking everything to make sure that it all looks good. So this is going to be your assignment for today. On your OneDrive, I said, because this is the easiest way to make sure nothing disappears and everything stays nice and neat in our emails. If for whatever reason your OneDrive's not working, you have trouble accessing your S.W.B.A.T email, whatever, you can email it to me in the body of an email. You can type it out on a PDF and send it to me that way, but no matter what, make sure I get this, okay? So that's for today. I'm looking for an introduction for your essay that we've been working on now the past 2 days. Tomorrow, we're going to start diving into body paragraphs, and we'll do some looking at body paragraphs and maybe how to transition and format body paragraphs. So hopefully this was a help to you today. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.